There's no more romantic or perfect location for any house in Italy, to my mind, than in this little corner of Tuscany. It's a project that's evolved for 17 years, and every year there's been a different focus and a different little area created. This is a project that we call Tuscany. It's a lovely estate. The house is sitting in a beautiful area of Tuscany. It's an old estate that was wedged between two fantastic vineyards, and it has olive groves and lavender and is sort of a little bit of heaven. It just lacked any kind of entrance. As you turn up the drive leading away from the vineyards, you go through some lovely big metal gates, and then you sweep into your own drive, and your own drive is this lovely straight road. The trees on your left-hand side are these very beautifully manicured cypress trees, and they're almost like sculptures. And as you come up to the house, you then start to see the house on your right-hand side. We've taken away some of the trees that block the view so that you get the full extent of the courtyard. As you sweep into it, in front of you, you have this very lovely fountain, and surrounding it, lemon trees, and you're in a classical courtyard. And in front of you is the house, and on either side of you are the guest houses. And the sort of mixture of the three houses creates the illusion, the atmosphere of quite a large house, but never any space in itself is overly grand. I mean, it's the most beautiful entrance sequence that you could conceive. Being a lovely Tuscan estate, of course it has to have, and getting hot in the summer, it needs to have a lovely swimming pool. What we were able to do is to redefine the route down to the pool. We planted cypress trees that would frame the house, and you'd carry down to the tall, beautifully maintained hedges that would surround the pool, and then you get down to the pool itself, which we refurbished and we relined, and we made it into something that becomes this beautiful destination. And it makes the whole view down over the pool into a sort of series, again, a series of episodes. And I think that's an incredibly important thing when you have a large area to deal with. You want to be able to make sure that there are features of interest at each stage. The thing that was very important to me was to give people a reason to walk through all these lovely gardens, because they always existed. The cutting garden existed, but you never went into it. The rose garden existed, but unless you were the gardener, you never went into it. The herb garden existed, but no one went there. We made sure that the route to the tennis court took you through there. So you have this journey of leaving the house, then you go down through the herb garden, you go through the rose garden, you go through the cutting garden, and then you arrive at the Mediterranean garden and the pergola with grapes pouring down over it, and you walk through the very twisty route, because again, you don't want to see your destination from your starting point. You want that to be a bit of an exploration, a bit of a journey. So you start walking down the pergola, and then the pergola curves to the right, and then on the right-hand side there's swathes of Mediterranean plants, and then you curve your way around, and eventually you reach down to the tennis court. But it's been a journey. You've experienced a lot of the garden that way, and that was very important to me. The project's taken a lot of time. I think it's taken about 17, 18 years. And each year we focused on a slightly different area, because we loved the way that working with the owners that we could develop one area and see how it worked, and then we moved on to another area. So at the beginning we did the drive and the access, and then we moved into other areas of the house. We did the in the basement we created a wonderful cinema room, a cinema and bar, rather glamorous cinema. I kind of wanted to make it sort of like a bit 1920s, a bit, you know, heyday of black and white films. The client loved film, and so we found some old lights from an old cinema down somewhere in Rome. And then we did a gym. Very important to me that the sound in a gym doesn't feel echoey, so I created panels with sycamore and fabric that absorb the sound, so that when you're working out there, you've got a beautiful sound system, of course, but when you're working out there, you don't feel in a hollow box. We made a beautiful spa another time with leather-lined walls, dark, romantic, found a way of lighting the shelves so that only the shelves need to be lit. But then there were lots of other rooms. We designed 2 guest houses, or the 2 guest houses that were either side used to be for the staff and the housekeeper and the cook, but we needed more bedrooms, and so we then turned both of them into these rather very special areas that feel linked in atmosphere to the main house, but they're simpler, they have a slightly more informal nature, lots of whites, lots of linen curtains that blow and move with the winds because it's hot and you need that kind of life. The garage is great because you can store everything you want down there, and then you sweep out of the garage into your estate. But very importantly, we tried never to allow that access to be seen from the house. So it's sheltered by growths and by vines and by wonderfully blowy flower beds that mean that the access is never anything that becomes like an industrial access. But it's a very effective way of getting down to this underground store. Ugh, isn't that beautiful?